Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Socially Distant, where I finally know what it feels like to be a circumcised penis.
God damn it.
I am your host, Alex Weber, and joining me as always through the power of divine intervention, my good friend and co-host,
Reverend Richie. Get
Yep.
your crackers and wine ready.
We
In
got,
the words of Chris D'Elia, how about you come eat a piece of this body?
we got Reverend Richie in the house tonight.
Amen.
The double Reverend special,
Bless you, my
Um,
son.
and also with you,
So yeah,
Richie.
Easter.
Richie,
Yeah.
how's it been, dude? It's been a
It's
minute.
been a couple days. Yeah, it's been good. How was your Easter?
It was good, spent a couple days in a cave,
Nice.
furiously jerking off, and now I'm back and ready to save
And you
the world,
emerged.
save the world from Catholics.
So you went home just to jerk off,
No.
and then you came back.
Yeah, that's some people,
That's
how
pretty much
people like took on the cheap flights when Corona started to go like on vacation. I didn't do that. I just drove to Connecticut to jerk off.
I drove to Connecticut to just to furiously jack it into my family pool, into the family jacuzzi. Just let it just sit and fester in this filth.
All right, I'm speechless at that one.
My Easter was great.
Yeah, what'd you guys do?
We had a nice family dinner of
Nice.
we made roast ham,
Ooh.
roast potatias, candied carrot, sparagus, things like that. So yeah, we just kind of did that because usually we go out
Yeah.
every year, but
I was supposed
with
to
you-
be with your family.
you were supposed to
on
be with
Easter.
us this weekend. So, but good old Coroni,
Yeah,
good
we'll
old
have to,
fucking Coroni jabroni.
We're gonna have
Had to
to
cancel that.
we'll have to rain check that so I can hang out with you
Yes.
and your family again because that was fun. When we
Yeah,
went to,
definitely.
We
My
went to an
family's
Irish.
fun.
We went to an Irish pub on Easter.
We did go to an Irish pub on Easter and we had Scotch eggs.
Oh my god, dude! I need a Scotch egg in my life. Those
Dude,
were so good.
we went to an Irish pub and ate Scotch eggs.
And I had fish and chips, which I guess
And-
is fitting for Easter.
You just went all UK that day.
My Easter was decent.
So this is after you jerked off, correct?
No, this is during the meal. No.
Perfect. Amen.
So I mean, back in the day, we'd go to my grandmother's house for Easter, like whole
Mhm.
family. 2 Easters ago, obviously didn't do that because I was with your family. Last Easter, I was up in New Hampshire again, hanging with some folks. So I haven't had like a family Easter in a while, which is okay because family gatherings really aren't my shtick.
Yep.
But so you just did it, my parents and I, and my mom made this chicken dish that was like okay, but the real star of the show is because again usually we're with my mom's mom and my mom's family, and so with that we're primarily like Polish Czech. I know Polish is definitely in the mix, but mainly Slovakian is what my like main ethnicity background is.
Oh, hell yeah.
So we fuck up some Polish food.
Amen.
We had garlic kielbasa from an actual Polish place in Connecticut that we get it from.
Yep.
With some sauerkraut.
Oof.
We had pierogis, which were they were good. And we also had some carrots as well, and then we had cheesecake and babka for.
Oof. I think I
was-
just came.
Oh, dude, it was so good. And before that, on Easter, I went for a 7-mile hike.
Ooh, how was that?
It was great. I thought I was gonna die at one point because it was 2.5 miles of just walking next to a river, decently straight terrain, obviously pretty rocky, but regardless pretty flat. And then you make a little bit of a corner, and then it's just like steep up the hill. And I wasn't expecting it, and I didn't bring any water, so I got home and took a shower, and like I almost couldn't stand in the shower because my legs were so tired.
Oh,
and
shit.
then I just absolutely demolished everything that I could that was food, which is great because now I also have leftovers.
Oh, nice. Have you
which
ever
is-
hiked Purgatory Chasm?
No, I haven't. But our friend Megan and her boyfriend just hiked that recently. I
It's
definitely
one of
wanna
my
check it out.
favorite places to go. It's really fun. We'll have to go hike it once this is over.
Dude,
but
absolutely.
it's basically just this natural chasm
Yeah.
that just formed, and it's all rocks.
I
So
saw
you
a
gotta
picture
climb
of it.
over, and
It looks so
it's
cool.
awesome.
I definitely want to check it out. So that's actually a perfect segue into just some basic housekeeping stuff. Since I mentioned it, Megan and her boyfriend Trevor, I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. They were going to start a true crime podcast. And they did one episode that they just sent to me. I don't think they published it anywhere. But hold on. But I think for our Thursday recorded, Friday released episode, we're going to have them as a guest.
Oh, awesome.
Because Megan has a whole episode crime already written up and ready to go. So we're going to do a crossover episode and get into a true crime case.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Which is going to be
I'm super excited.
Super, super fun.
Can Cowboy Richie take on the case?
Dude, that would be funny.
Wait.
Sheriff Richie.
Wait. Man, I don't know about this Sharon Tate, man. But guess what? The last time I had my Tate touched was when I was at that rub and tug place with Robert Kraft.
God. So that's going to be coming at the end of the week. Super, super stoked for that. We got to reschedule with our good friend from school, Anna Friedman, have her on the show. Got to have my other friend, Elena Conti, on the show.
Do you ever sometimes wipe and you forget to wipe front to back and you do back to front and you smear a little bit of poop on your Sharon Tate?
Deflect.
The other day I went and I planted some perineums.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they come up every year.
And then we one of my friends from high school, Danny, kid's a musician, music journalist, songwriter, really great guy, really good musician and singer. He expressed interest in being on the show, so we can maybe have him come on, and since we're all into music, we can maybe talk about the effects of coronavirus on the music industry and the live music scene, which I think would be fun.
That could be really cool. I have some people who want to be on, and I just got to schedule it. My buddy Ben, a member of Funny Please, and a co-host of Records and Reels with me, and Tegan, the founder and current president, I want to say, of Funny Please. And I'd like to talk about how humor has been affected during Corona.
Ooh, I like that.
And different stuff. Yeah, I have another friend that I'm trying to get on, Taylor, and I want her to talk about music and things. She's also a Deadhead.
Okay, cool. We could do a Dead revisit.
Ooh, the Grateful Dead revisited.
I think it would definitely be fun to have more guests. So I'm glad that we have this little tentative lineup. And sort of piggybacking off of that, another friend from high school, my friend Alana Sadlin. I know too many Elenas and Alanas. I know way too fucking many, but that's okay. She is starting a blog called, hold on, let me get this. It is called How Did You What?
Okay.
And it's a resource for the career curious because I guess she has started and stopped her education a bunch because she's not exactly sure where she wants to fit herself in career-wise. So she's starting a blog about that. It is going to be interviewing people about where they're at in their career path and what they ideally would like to be doing. So I think I'm going to be doing an interview for that. I said I'd plug the blog on the podcast that no one listens to, and she said, well, I'll plug your podcast on my blog that no one reads yet. So we out here recognizing real. And also on a serious note with that, she had just tweeted out today that she did in fact test positive for coronavirus.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, but it's a super mild case, which is good. So shout out to Alana Sadlin. Hope you feel better, homie. And once her blog gets up and running, definitely check it out. It's called How Did You What? Literally, I think set up today. So we'll keep you updated on that one. Speaking of updates, Richie, we're on Spotify now.
We are on Spotify.
We're on Spotify. I did some legwork last week, and got it done.
Amen.
Used a website called Anchor.
Yep.
Which is just for podcast hosting, because a lot of places for podcast hosting, you gotta pay for it. which normally I'd be fine with, but given the circumstances of money and unemployment and all that shit,
Yep.
didn't really want to think about it. But I found Anchor, and it was super, super easy. Like, I made an account and just started uploading the audio from episodes. Plugged into descriptions, album artwork, and everything. And you could just host it on there. Like, it's also like a podcast hosting site. So, like, if we wanted to send it to people to listen to there, we could. But it'll also, you could just say, like, hey, distribute this. And so they'll send it to Spotify. They'll send it to Apple Music. So I did that. And, like, 30 minutes after I sent the distribution, it was up on Spotify. I thought it was going to take a couple days. So now, currently all 13 of our episodes are on there. It's on Google Podcasts as well.
Oh, awesome.
Couple other things that I haven't heard of. We did send it to Apple Music, but they're probably being little bitches about it. But that's okay. Spotify's the big one, and I'm super stoked for that.
Me too.
There's also like 7 other podcasts called Socially Distant in one form or another. But I was looking at the like first episode release dates, and I think we're sort of at the forefront there.
Oh, awesome. Perfect.
So you can send your tithing to sociallydistantpodcast@gmail.com.
Send your tithes to the church of the podcast.
Suck on my balls.
Don't say that in the presence of a fucking minister.
I'm a minister. I've been a reverend longer than you have, Richie. I have seniority.
So what?
If I want to tell people to suck my balls, they could suck my balls. There's a lot of ball and phallic talk because
in the name of religion, suck my dick.
There's a lot of phallus talk because I buzzed my head today.
Yeah.
And that is the circumcision joke that I made earlier.
That was you buzzed it with the vibrating cock ring, right?
Yeah, no, I got it from adamandeve.com. They're our sponsor for this episode.
Promo code distant. No, we're joking. No, not happening. Guys, do not do that.
But what if it works? We could do sponsorships through Anchor, but we don't have enough viewers for that.
Oh, yep. So guys, fucking share us, dude.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
If we start getting like up to 1,000 views, we can get paid sponsorships, I think.
Oh wow.
Or we could do it now, but they don't pay usually. They pay it per like cost per 1,000 views.
Yeah.
It's broken down by that. So something to look forward to, but
yep, I still make royalties off of my albums that are on Spotify and stuff.
Yeah.
And every like couple of months I'll get like a text that's like, you made 6 cents. And I'm like, fucking yeah, like, dude. I'm making money.
I'm going to the casino tonight.
My favorite was the very first time I ever made money as an artist was with Logan McCarthy.
Yes.
And this was my sophomore year of college, so wasn't really doing a lot of paid gigs, stuff like that yet. And then we did a collaboration called The Festive Follies.
Oh, yes, I'm familiar.
It's a series of songs about the day after Christmas and what happens after Christmas. So, for my part, I wrote some songs, recorded some stuff, and we always release it for free, but people can pay if they want on Bandcamp and donate. So, someone paid $1.10, so I made 55 cents.
Hey,
and the name of the album is The Festive Follies in Manhattan. I don't know where I came up with Manhattan, but what I came up with originally, and then we changed it to in, but I thought of The Festive Follies Take Manhattan.
Yeah,
so
I would love to make a Jason joke there.
Oh, yep. And so I wrote a song called Christmas Man to the tune of Nowhere Man by the Beatles, which didn't make the album, so I should dig that up.
Please do. I'd love to hear that.
What else did we do? We did a tribal Christmas beat. That was fun. We did a great cover of Vanilla Yellow Snow, which appeared on that, which was a lot of fun. And then I got to bring that back up with Logan McCarthy later when we played with Amazon. We opened for Amazon Mancy.
Yeah.
Logan and Richie, which was a really fun duo. But yeah, that was kind
Oh
of
yeah,
that thing.
I photographed that show.
You did, yeah, and that I
And
used that
you
for
used
like
that
everything.
picture on your business card, and I almost took legal action on you.
You almost gave me a cease and desist.
I did.
Thank goodness my new business cards also have a photo that you took of me on it. But I ended up getting like where did I put it? Can't remember where I put it, but I have like the little small business cards by Moo. It's basically like it's like the size of your thumb,
Ooh.
a little bit longer, and it's about the same like width as it. But it's like a micro business card.
Oh,
and
cool.
I got them because like everybody has just like a square rectangle business
you
card.
you gotta
I want
set
something
yourself
that's
apart.
different. Mm-hmm.
I totally respect that. Forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Sorry. Yeah, no. So you used my image on that, and then we did that great photo shoot.
Yeah, that was a fun photo shoot.
Yeah, we should definitely do.
Especially
more
when
of
we
that.
did the wacky photos.
Yeah.
When I peed on the statue, and that turned into the cover for Pissing on Art, which was an EP I produced where I wrote 4 songs in a spoken word piece, all love songs, but in the style of a different visual artist. So like how they would write a love song, which I actually think is a cool concept. But
yeah, for sure.
I really want to go back and like revisit it and do Pissing on Art Revisited.
Ooh.
And kind of do that whole big thing. Yeah, I think that could be fun. Maybe do some stuff on something that I'm planning to work on this summer if we get the band lifted.
Oh wow, that's perfect. I was just about to say. Speaking of creative things, you want to talk about what our little future project plan is?
Yes. So we have a project coming up, and I want to plug it now. But I want to record basically like a companion to the album that I'm recording and writing right now, and actually release it on video, maybe an hour program to maybe hour 15 minutes. There will be music videos for each of the songs on the album. I would like my brother to actually do some animated sequences on one of the songs and then the finale song. And I'd love to have Weber film it on film, transfer it to digital so that we can edit it and then release it both on YouTube and then do special editions on VHS.
Yeah.
Which I think would be really cool. But I'd love to do the Jack McBree saga. So, but yeah, so the name of the companion, I'd love it to be called Richie / Jack / Oliver / McBree. So it would just be that kind of like weird, pretentious artist thing. And I'd love to have appearances by the City Wizard and Herb Lorraine.
Yes.
I'd love to have Herb Lorraine harassing people on the streets of Boston, and putting that in there. So yeah, I think that could be really fun. Getting like a really weird microphone and just harassing people. Herb Lorraine doing man on the street interviews, I think would be like the best thing ever.
It would be
He's
fantastic.
like, fuck Billy on the street. Get Herb on the street. Fucking, where's we going? It's in the winter. You like my glasses?
Could you imagine doing that in a post-corona society? Everyone's gonna be so like coked out on being able to be like social again that they're gonna be like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll play along.
I want us to get kicked out of at least 2 restaurants.
As long as they're restaurants that I don't frequent, I'm fine with it.
Perfect. Well, that's why we'll go to like downtown Boston.
Okay, yeah.
And like do that. So yeah, we'll try to get into like fancy restaurants like fucking Cheers or some shit like that. We're in Cheers, having a good time at Cheers.
Too bad Top of the Hub closed. We could have tried to crash that.
Dude, Top of the Hub. That would have been awesome. My dad worked at Disney. The restaurant he worked at was called Top of the World.
Ooh.
And it was the very top of the Contemporary Resort at Disney. So I just think that's pretty cool. But yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what I want to do with that. And I have it kind of written out in an outline. And so yeah, I'd love to do that and really have fun.
Just to quick clarify, you said film. We don't mean like 16 millimeter or 35 millimeter. We're talking about mini DV or high 8 cassette film, which is going to be...
the camera that I have is a JVC, and it records on Super VHS-C.
Yeah.
So I'd love to record on that and then somehow transfer it over to digital.
That's going to be the easy part. So I have never really entertained the idea of shooting on that recently, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe within the past like couple months, I thought, it would be kind of cool. And unfortunately, my family used to have a camera that shot on that. I think it was high 8, and the microphone broke, so they ditched it. So have to work on that because I definitely want one because I think just the look of that could be in right now.
So much fun.
And
Oh yeah,
it would be super fun because it's not digital, so we gotta like work with that.
You know what would be awesome if we put Herb Lorraine in a found footage horror film.
Oh my god.
I see a demon. I see a possessed person. That just looks like me on a Tuesday. Like random shit. I think that could be really fun. But
and
yeah,
so actually transferring over from that to digital is gonna be super easy. I was looking on Amazon. You can get kits to do that for like $80 or less.
Oh, not bad.
What I want to look into is getting digital transferred onto VHS because I tweeted a number of months ago that I wanted to release Herb Lorraine on VHS.
Oh, dude.
And I think that
has to happen.
That would be super cool.
That has to happen.
I literally just don't know how to do it. I'm sure it's possible.
Yeah, I know there's services and things where you can maybe get that done, but
it's usually the other way around, but I guarantee you there's got to be a way, even if, like, we hook something up to a TV and then attach a VHS to it and then record onto a VHS from that, like...
And then as, like, a master?
Yeah, well, I mean, I used to do that all the time. Like, my dad and I used to do that. Like, if there was, like, a movie on TV that I wanted to watch, but it was at, like, a bad time, we just record it on a VHS.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that'd be possible.
Word, I think that could be cool. We'd have to first... format the movie to fit on a... I'd love to first do it on a CRT TV, find an old cathode ray tube, and then put it on VHS, because I don't know how the quality will go from, like, an HD TV to a VCR.
Yeah, true. I'd have to
with
figure
one
out
video out.
the aspect ratio, but that would be a fun little project.
That could be really fun to do.
So, hopefully lots of cool things coming.
Yeah. I just did a sketch myself for the Collective NB's virtual show, which is Saturday today's the 14th, 15 Wednesday, 16, 17 is Friday, 18? Is that right? Yeah, the 18th or the 19th. What I think it's
18th.
The 18th. Yep, Saturday night. I started a new sketch series called Young Christ, where it's a young millennial Christ and his wacky antics with his dad, God. So
the
first episode is
your father.
Yeah, God is played by my father, James Oliver.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I have some ideas for that. But the first episode is young Christ learns about COVID, and so he tries to call his father, who's asleep. My favorite part of it is I'll just fucking spoilers. I don't care. His ringtone is "What's the Buzz" from Jesus Christ Superstar. So you just hear him sleeping, then you just hear muffled, "What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening." But yeah, it's pretty fun, and I recorded that all last night. I edited it last night, submitted it last night also.
And where is that gonna be held?
That is going to be held on Facebook. So if you look up on Facebook, the Collective N as in Nancy, B as in boy. So, yep, the Collective NB on Facebook.
I thought you were going to say an active group I'm part of. As in Bhagavan Antle.
N as in not that bitch Carol Baskin. B as in Bhagavan Antle. That is BHAGAVAN. ANTLE, Dr. Bhagavan Antle.
So while we're on the creativity kick,
yep,
you had sent me a video and some audio the other day to sync up.
Yes, because I do not have Adobe Premiere.
And so Richie sends me a Snapchat message saying like, "Hey, I have to record a video and send it to Steve Boucher."
Over at Southern Hampshire University.
Can you sync the audio for me? I said, absolutely. So I'm over here thinking it's going to be like a formal thing, like Richie like talking about something, maybe like an interview thing. I get the footage, and it's Richie outside with his guitar and the microphone. So I'm like, okay, we're doing music. And he played and sung Touch of Grey by the Grateful Dead.
Yes.
And first of all, sounded great.
Oh,
really,
thanks. Yeah,
really good.
It's this Zoom H2 microphone.
No, I mean,
this microphone's the best thing ever.
Musically, you know,
oh, thanks.
Your vocals and your playing were really good. And I did send it to my friend Elena Conti, who's
Mhm.
also familiar with the dead, and she had told me to tell you that it was awesome and it
Oh,
sounded
thank you,
amazing.
Elena.
So we're getting a fan base out there for you.
Mhm.
And so I thought, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna sync this audio and send it back. But I got a little carried away and started to master and edit the audio, and then did some like color correction, and
Yeah.
I really tried to do my best with making the audio sound as good as
And
possible.
you did amazing with it. It came out so awesome.
And I had a lot of fun. So now I think we're gonna be doing a little bit more collaborations like that, where you're gonna send me some stuff, and I'm going to make it sound nice and sparkly.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I definitely want to do that. I have some ideas. I'd love to do a really stripped back, laid back version of Vacation by the
Ooh,
Go-Go's, because I think
yeah.
that is fitting right now.
Yeah, totally, dude.
Vacation's all I ever wanted. Either that, or I'd love to do a cover of Mamma Mia by ABBA, because I do that live sometimes now, which is fun. But I'd love to have it recorded.
ABBA.
ABBA. Good old ABBA.
So yeah, I'm glad that we're both trying to come up with some creative shit to do.
Yeah, especially because like this, as we're trying to work, this podcast is really weekly, like weekdays and working days. It's really like my only real source of creative outlet.
Yeah.
And it's really only the creative outlet that I have. So yeah, I look forward to like Fridays and Saturdays, because I can like focus on like what do I want to do personally, and like how can I record this music and stuff, because people are awake in my house, and I don't have to worry about people sleeping or trying to disturb people. Yep, especially because my brother and his girlfriend all take like virtual classes also. So I have to keep that in mind.
Right.
And yeah, so.
Speaking of virtual classes, I sent an Instagram message to Vanessa Rocco the other day.
Oh, yes.
Just checking in on her. Love Vanessa Rocco. She's awesome. And we're just saying, like, hey, hope, you know, you and your family are doing good, staying safe and everything. And let me read what she said. She's like, yeah, it's super surreal. And I guess she was teaching a film class with David Humphreys.
Yep.
Like, I forgot what the actual class was, but it was like a collaboration class between the two of them. And she's like, I'm super, super bummed because we can't do screenings and we can't watch all, like, the student work in the theater. Which totally sucks, and I could not even imagine doing, like, online schooling right now.
Yeah, I could not imagine it. So I give props to my brother and his girlfriend for really looking at it. My brother just finished all the animation for his film. So he's putting that together. He's going to be doing all the Foley and stuff, which is really cool. So be on the lookout for Frank and Mungo's Worm Son, a new short film by Austin Oliver, starring Nick LeBlanc and Riley.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, let's turn the conversation over to coronavirus. And I want to segue to that because we were talking about schooling and I talked about Vanessa Rocco. Yeah. Let's open up, before we get into anything that's either positive or negative or bullshit or whatever, let's just open up with how awesome Snoo has been for the Manchester community with coronavirus. I see President LeBlanc's updates on Twitter, and I'm just like, holy shit, he is awesome. This institution is awesome.
Yes, I've never been more proud to be studying and studied at a college than I do like now. Like now I look back at it and I was like, that's pretty fucking awesome that they're doing.
They set up, what was it, like the first like emergency hospital area? Is that what they did?
Yes, they set up basically it's a hospital overflow.
Yeah.
In the athletic in the field house basically. So that's basically what they were doing is setting up field stuff there. If the hospitals ever needed to overflow, it could be used there.
And they also donated a ton of iPads, or they got donated a ton of iPads for people to communicate with loved ones, you know, because if you're in the hospital with coronavirus, you can't see other people. And if it escalates to the point where you pass away, you're doing that alone, which is totally terrible. So when I saw that on Twitter, I definitely was like, wow, like, I'm super proud to be like, you know, to have studied there and be associated with Southern Hampshire University. They
also donated 5,000 school lunches for students in the Manchester area. Because they as of right now, especially a lot of students who rely on school lunches.
Yeah, for their food.
That helped them out a lot. So props to Snoo for helping out with that as well. But yeah, they're just doing an awesome job. I knew Snoo was like the right school
Yeah.
when we acquired Daniel Webster.
Oh yeah.
And when they lost their accreditation, the stuff they did for, granted it was small at first because that's really all they could do at such a short amount of time, but what they did for the students has now blossomed into having a full-on college of engineering, technology, and aviation. So now, and they have an amazing new building.
Yeah, I haven't
to do that,
been
the
up
CETA
there.
building.
Haven't been up there recently. I've seen pictures of it. It looks incredible. I'd love to go see it and see that new green space sometime.
Yeah, hopefully homecoming isn't canceled this year, so I can definitely make a trip back up there.
When usually is homecoming? Is that September?
Middle of October, so usually it's around
Oh.
I'd say in the teens of October on that
Cool.
weekend. I usually play there,
Yeah.
which is fun. And
now that I'm
everybody goes up and checks
in
it
the
out.
same state as you, we could do a
We
little.
could definitely carpool
collab.
up. Yeah, that would be awesome.
I think by middle of October we should be fine.
Yeah, I'm hoping this is done by beginning of May. I'm really hoping.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I first of all, I don't really subscribe much to reading too much into stuff, just because I don't want to overwhelm myself. Because when shit really started to go down at first, and that was like, we definitely talked about it on the show, like, literally Twitter was all that. It wasn't anything else other than coronavirus stuff.
Yep.
And as someone who lives, breathes, and functions on Twitter for primarily most of their day, that was a lot. And then seeing shit on like Facebook and Reddit and Instagram. Well, not Instagram. We had that conversation. But like Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, it was really overwhelming. So I'm trying to like distance myself from that. So I'm not super current, but I would also super hope that early mid-May. But part of me is a bit cynical, and I'm not sure how that's going to play out. My main concern, which I think this might be an interesting topic to talk about, I've been thinking about this a lot. A lot of yesterday, kind of a little bit 2 nights ago, is, okay, so coronavirus runs its course. Let's say we get it under control. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, well once we get it under control, we can go back to normal. My mind is that how fucked up is going to be the world and the economy and jobs and like everything around our normal lives realistically is not going to just go back to normal. Like there's going to be such an overflow of just like shit that we're going to have to deal with. And I think that is totally shitty for everyone, but it's also super shitty for people in our generation. Because like, again, I just moved out of my house, bar going to college and shit. This is the first time that I've like moved out of my house, have my own apartment, started a brand new job, and now this comes along, totally sucks. I'm still in my own apartment. I'm still going to have a job come May 15th, hopefully by May 15th, which is good. Super glad about that. But then what's going to be the spillover? Like, I'm not talking about like immediate. I'm talking like 5 years maybe. Like, how is the future going to be affected by this? Because I don't see it as just going back to normal. And especially with our current system of government, and by system of government I mean leadership, and
we're not a political podcast. We're not a political podcast.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Like,
we're political people, but
we won't get it too much into it on the show. We could maybe take this conversation offline.
Yeah, we will.
Or I could just finish this bottle of wine and throw on my Alex Jones shirt and go on for it.
They're putting freaking fluoride in the water that are turning the freaking frogs gay.
This is a socially distant PSA. Alex Jones is one of the many people on the list of people who can suck my fucking ball sack. That is all. Back to the show.
The second person on that list, except that second person from my list, is Caitlin Bennett, who shit herself at a college party.
Oh my god, the one time cyberbullying is okay.
The one time where that one meme you did.
Yeah, look at this photograph.
Look at this photograph. What I want you to do now, can you edit that meme to do the continue? With Roundabout by Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Just
yeah.
hold it up.
The JoJo meme.
Totally.
Totally. Fucking totally.
So yeah, what were
Um,
we talking about? Oh yeah, how this is gonna be affected in 5 years.
Yeah, or just like I don't know what I was on, like what kind of mental wavelength I was on 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Um,
How long will it? That's actually a very valid question. How long will it take to really recover from this?
because like okay, so let's say globally, or even as a country globally, whatever, we recover from the virus. That
Mhm.
should be priority number one. And
Exactly.
once that happens, things will be a lot different and a lot easier because
Mhm.
we're not going to be dealing with a global pandemic.
Mhm.
But that's not the end of the road. That's like just scratching the surface because think of how much stuff has gotten offset or, you know, has been affected by this. That has to now get
Exactly.
rebuilt. I just, again, I was on some really like cynical, pessimistic thing, and I was just like, damn, what if the next like 10 years of my life are just completely skull fucked by this whole thing and just sort of like the aftershock of it? And I think, you know, it's not fun to think about, but it's definitely something to put on your radar because, again, we're sort of inheriting all of this. Our generation, again, we're like just getting into like real adulthood mode
Yep.
almost, and now we're hit with this, which I've definitely seen a lot of it where like, oh yeah, millennials are getting super like hit super hard with this because this is sort of like their time. And I was
Mhm.
like, yeah, that's a good point. But then a couple days ago, I just really like thought about it, and so I don't know what's gonna happen with that. Obviously, I think hopefully we can get this under wraps soon, and then deal with all the consequences as they go on. But food for thought, for sure.
Yep. Definitely.
And again, let's not get super political, but we can get political later.
Yeah, we'll get political later.
I have a lot of choice words about a lot of people. But
Oh, yeah.
that said, I'm going to read some headlines from reddit.com/r/coronavirus,
Mhm.
which is, you know, just sort of like a dumping ground for any news about coronavirus. And we will read some headlines and then we could just react to them. We did this a couple weeks ago. It was
Oh
on
yes.
on world news, but now I know that there is a specific coronavirus subreddit and we can go with that.
Mhm.
Majority of Americans support monthly cash assistance to offset pandemic damage to the economy.
Yes.
Definitely.
I also support that.
I'm checking my Chase app every morning, waiting for that $1,200.
Yep.
I know. I saw on Twitter yesterday that people started to get it.
Mhm.
If you have direct deposit set up, and that was something that I looked into like last week, just trying to figure out a timeline. If you
Yeah.
have direct deposit set up with the IRS, so like your last tax return, which I had my last tax return direct deposit into a bank account,
Mhm.
that's going to come a lot quicker than if you don't and you get a check sent to you.
Oh
because
yeah,
they
I
have
do
to-
get checks sent to me, so yeah, it's gonna take a couple
They have
weeks probably.
dude, I was here in maybe like August or like couple
Damn.
months maybe. I don't know if August. It might take a while because they have to print all those, send them out, and everything. It's a lot easier
Yep.
to direct deposit. But I know, I think on the 17th,
Uh-huh.
I saw a picture on Twitter that had kind of like a timeline. I know by like tomorrow the 15th they're gonna be still sending the things out. On the 17th they're gonna have the IRS is gonna have a little like portal app on their website
Mhm.
where you can sort of like track it, figure out when you're gonna get it, if you're eligible for it, and then I believe with that, if you wanted to set up direct deposit, if you didn't already, you could do that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Which
So yeah,
is
that
good.
could.
Good news for you and anyone else who just gets the regular checks.
Yep.
I would hope that would come out soon. I think I saw the 15th or the 17th, which is good because I also just want to like check and see what it is in general. Because again,
Exactly.
I'm waiting. But
Mhm.
yeah, I do think, you know, cash assistance is definitely welcomed by a lot of people.
Yep, and I feel like it's not so much as a want now. I think it's a need.
Yeah, and especially when it comes into, you know, if you want to support your local economy.
Yep.
Because again, think of all like the small businesses or like small restaurants or anything that's severely like impacted by this.
Exactly.
it could be severely detrimental.
Yep, especially for people whose rents have not been frozen or things of that nature. So
Yeah,
it's,
for sure. That's like honestly, like I hope that this stimulus check fucking comes through quick because that's like 98% of my rent for the month, which would be super helpful because I don't want to have to dip into savings or anything on top of other bills that I'm already paying and whatnot. So yeah, definitely interested to see. I mean, like, are we just getting our money back from taxes, or like, what's going to be the implications of this whole thing? I don't know. But if the government wants to give me $1,200, I'll boogie with the government for a little bit.
Yep.
This is a cool one. Florida man.
Hell yeah.
No,
boy.
no, it's a good one. It's a good one. Florida man buys $20,000 bottle of bourbon for $40,000 to help struggling restaurants stay afloat.
Oh wow. Okay. Good
That
on
better
you,
be
Florida
some
man.
good. That better be some good fucking bourbon.
That better be some good fucking meth he was on to even think about that.
Right. All the members of CCR better have brought him that bottle.
Right? It's just there you go. Born on the bayou.
Ooh, okay. This is a good one, and this is definitely a topic that I want to touch on and talk about.
Oh yes.
8 in 10 Americans would wait to resume activities after government lifts coronavirus restrictions. Poll. Totally.
Nah, I'm going. As soon as I get the okay, I'm fucking out of this house.
Okay.
I'm at the bar. I'm drinking. I'm having a good time.
So there is obviously a level of that's fine to do.
Hesitation.
And I think, if you wanted to go and get like a couple drinks, totally fine.
Yep.
But I think with that, it also depends on the timing.
Yep.
Because, I don't know if you saw this a couple days ago, there was a hashtag trending on Twitter called Open America Now.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah. So
I don't support it now.
there is a certain group of individuals who think we should just go back to normal and go back to work. And I got in a little fire exchange with a man named Richard who had a picture of the American flag as his Twitter profile picture.
So me. I'm kidding.
Yeah, so
I'm kidding.
So that was fun. I got in a little argument with one of them, and I think I got the last word in because I had a pretty good response to him, and he just didn't respond. So it's like, all right, Richard, are you still trying to comprehend what I just told you?
Big word make me mad.
And I think that would be good because obviously, like, if shit gets lifted in a good time, and I think we're gonna hit another headline that kind of plays off of this. I'll try to find it right after this.
Yep.
If we hit a certain point where it feels like we're at a decent point to like go back to start to like reintegrate into society and be normal, totally fine with that. But if you want to just open everything back up now, that is not a good idea.
Exactly, especially right now when most states, especially Massachusetts, April 10th through the 20th was their estimate for peak of coronavirus. So it's like, some people are just idiots. Yeah. And some people suck.
Some people are just really dense. So with that, we'll bring it back to Connecticut here, my home state. Connecticut governor, no restrictions lifted before May 20th. And I know Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, the whole tri-state, and I think Mass might be in on this too. I saw a tweet from
Cuomo. They started like a coalition.
Yeah,
to try to open up the economy.
A lot of states are doing that so they can, build a plan of how we're going to reopen, normal life and all of this stuff, which I really like. And I'm sorry to get political here, but on a briefing with the president, you probably saw this, he said that someone mentioned like, oh, well, what about governors saying that they're going to be the ones to decide when they're going to open their states up? And our president said, well, the president has absolute power.
Nope.
And I'm going to get a little political right now. That fucking terrifies me.
Yep.
I don't like where this is going. I have no hope for the future now that Biden is... Well, I don't want to say I don't have any hope for the future. I think if enough people really tried. But
Yep.
I was like seeing Bernie suspend. I mean, you could still vote for him, and you should.
Yes.
It's
Definitely.
just again, I'm so like disconnected from like try to be disconnected from politics, but it's tough because like I see shit like that where the president's like, no, we have the president has absolute power, and I'm like, that's getting a little too fascisty for me.
Yep. All I can think of is that scene from E.T. You have absolute power. Yes. Mm-hmm.
That was very Yoda-esque.
Well, yeah, that's what he's doing in the movie.
Yeah.
Whenever he goes, I have absolute power, say it. Yes, you have absolute power.
And in terms of people being stupid, we are not afraid of any virus. Crowds gathered outside of Ohio State House protesting coronavirus shutdowns.
God damn it.
Well, you know what they say. Ohio is for lovers.
There was a, I don't know if you saw this, but there was a news person, a reporter who was basically outside, and there was line of cars coming out of a church. So basically, they were getting there, and he stops this one woman, and he's fully distancing himself with the microphone, going, "Why did you actively come to church knowing that there are people that could be infected and things like that?" And her response was, "And I'm not a personally religious person, and I don't dog religion. Everybody has their own beliefs, and that's to it. But she said, coronavirus can't get me because I am covered in the blood of Jesus."
Yeah.
And
so sort of the same thing with you. I don't identify really with any religion whatsoever. If you want to believe in something that makes you feel whole and happy, power to you. Do what you got to do. Jesus or any other deity that you worship could not give a single flying shit if you're in a building worshiping them. You can do any level of worship, praise, practice anything you want from your home, and again, if it makes you feel, whole or makes you feel fulfilled, that should be what matters. And you could definitely do that from home.
And I very much agree with that.
Like, let's speak from the perspective of what if there is a higher power. I think they would understand that it's like, yo, man, I'm not coming to your place for drinks tonight, but like we'll have a Zoom happy hour at my house, and like you just stay at your place.
Yeah, like
totally fine.
My sketch that I made, Young Christ.
Yeah.
Jesus learns of coronavirus by watching TV.
Yeah.
And then he tries to call his dad God who's asleep. Like, they could give two shits about what's going on in the world.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna hit you with a couple cool things.
Awesome.
Snoop Dogg partners with Beyond Meat to feed frontline heroes among coronavirus crisis.
Hooray! From Dunkin' Donuts to helping out the essential workers.
FedEx driver sanitizes package delivered to girl with autoimmune disorders.
Yes, that was a great one. I don't know if you saw the video of that or the news thing of that. So there was a sign up, and it said, "This person," or there's a caution. There's a person here that lives with an autoimmune disorder.
Yeah.
Please handle minimally, or like please do not knock or anything like that. So this guy, when he brought his thing, went out of his way to take, basically like he had Clorox wipes in his pockets, or like clean ones, or some of those ones. And he actually wiped down the entire package before placing it on the ground. And the ring camera, or one of those cameras, caught him doing that. And so they thanked him for it. He was on the news and everything. And
there was also, speaking of kind of stuff like that with signs, I'm trying to find the headline. I can't find it on this page right now. 93-year-old woman with "I need more beer" quarantine sign gets gift from Coors, and they just sent her a shitload of beer. They
sent her like 150 beers or something, like 150 cans of beer, and I'm like,
150 Coors Light beers.
How much money could be saved if you didn't just give it to a random old lady who now has to sit there with a bunch of beer? Like, the money that could have been made.
Think about when this all blows over. Think about the bottle redemption on that,
dude.
What's
that's
that?
Probably
5 cents.
5 cents. So that multiplied by 0.05, you're looking at 5% of 130. 150.
Let's see, 150 times 0.05.
So if you do 10% of that, 10% of 150 is $1.50. and you half that, so it would be about 75 cents that she would make.
No, it's $7.50.
That's right. Yep.
Which, I mean, sure, you could.
Good job.
You could buy a 6-pack of
Of
PBR
beer.
Tall Boys
You can buy a 6-pack of PBR Tall
because they
Boys
are
for like
$6.99.
Fuck yeah, hell yeah.
Let's see. I had a couple more. Actually, this might be a cool one to end on, because it opens up to a wider topic. Lego is producing 13,000 face visors per day for healthcare workers amid coronavirus pandemic, and I'm gonna open this up to. I watched a video from Linus Tech Tips on YouTube a couple days ago. They got like 30 3D printers from Prusa, who is like a pretty well-known like 3D printer manufacturer for like hobbyists and people who are like makerspaces that are into that.
Yep.
They sent like them 30, and they're printing the pieces for these like visors. And
That's awesome.
They're trying to bust out like 200-300 a day.
That's great.
They had some clips that they like. I guess they talked to the founder of Prusa. His last name is Prusa. He's from the Czech Republic, so making my people proud. And he was like, yeah, I was super surprised how like almost immediately people who are into like hobby desktop 3D printing just like jumped on it. And they have this whole thing where like you can, print these out, send them to a place that'll sanitize them properly, and then distribute them to a bunch of different places. So I think that's a really, really cool thing that, people are coming together and doing that, it's helping. And there's so many people with this technology, and if everyone just does it a little bit, even if you do like 15 in a week, that's still 15 masks that you can send out to someone.
Exactly. So. It's as of right now, no act of kindness is too small. So please don't feel insecure about the size of the kindness that you are giving to other people.
Was that a little double entendre there?
No,
sorry. I know, but I totally agree.
You know what I mean?
I think it's really uplifting to see how people are doing their best to help others when you can't directly be in contact with them.
Exactly.
Because it's like, all right, I want to help, but I have to be creative with it. And I think that's really cool. And especially, global, state of affairs with everything, political state of affairs, this whole virus bullshit pandemic, like it's a lot, and it's definitely super stressful. So any little thing that you could do for someone, it'll make them feel good and make you feel good, and then they could pass it off to someone else, and the cycle continues. So definitely uplifting to see stuff like that. If it's printing 13,000 masks a day by fucking Lego, which is awesome, or just like offering to get someone groceries who might not be able to go out and get them.
Anything that's little. You have extra food or something, leave it on your neighbor's porch.
Yeah.
Give a knock and run away, and just something that shows I feel like, why does it have to wait until times of crisis to show humanity in people? You know what I mean?
I totally.
And when this is over, keep showing that humanity.
And that's what I was gonna say. I feel like, because again, I share the same sentiment with that, where it's like, all right, so now that something bad happened, now everyone's gonna give a shit and everyone's gonna do something. I feel with this, because of how big it is and how it literally affects everybody. Like, there was a 15-year-old boy in a remote Amazonian tribe who died from coronavirus. Now, there's a lot to unpack there with how coronavirus made its way there that we're not going to get into on the show. But still, it globally affects essentially every human being, regardless of anything. So I think because of that, and just because of how crazy it is, I feel like, and I hope that once this sort of starts to die down, that people are still going to be super kind and helpful to others. I really hope that would be a silver lining out of this whole thing, is that
people stop being dicks.
we get more of a sense of unity and like community and want to help out everyone just to help out. And that would be a great reality to see and would definitely help offset my impending pessimistic doom that is brewing in the back of my head that I'm sure will only get worse as quarantine continues, but we'll save that for another episode.
And if you're looking for something to get you out of this gloom, I do think this would be a great time to segue into a quick Richie's Poetry Corner.
Yes.
You know, fuck the time limit on this podcast.
Yeah, no,
Let's just go at it. We haven't done it for a
bit.
bit.
Late. Well, fuck it. We'll do
Fucking
it live.
A, man. Fuck it. We'll do it live. I'll read it off the thing, and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks. All right, so.
Yeah, what do you got for us today, Richie?
Thanks you everyone for coming down to the Chuckle Club here. Richie's Poetry Corner's coming out. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming out. We're all having a great time. Woo, yeah. All right, cool. So today's poet shares the last name as myself. This poet is Mary Oliver, born 1935. She is a nature poet. So it's more poetry about nature. This is a short poem comprised of 7 small sections called Rain. All right. Rain by Mary Oliver. 1. All afternoon it rained. Then such power came down from the clouds on a yellow thread, as authoritative as God is supposed to be. When it hit the tree, her body opened forever. 2. The swamp. Last night in the rain, some of the men climbed over the barbed wire fence of the detention center. In the darkness they wondered if they could do it, and knew they had to try to do it. In the darkness they climbed the wire, handful after handful of barbed wire. Even in the darkness, most of them were caught and sent back to the camp inside. But a few are still climbing the barbed wire, or wading through the blue swamp on the other side. What does barbed wire feel like when you grip it, as though it were a loaf of bread or a pair of shoes? What does barbed wire feel like when you grip it, as though it were a plate and a fork or a handful of flowers? What does barbed wire feel like when you grip it, as though it were the handle of a door, working papers, a clean sheet you want to draw over your body? 3. Or this one. On a rainy day, my uncle, lying in the flower bed, cold and broken, dragged from the idling car with its plug of rags and its gleaming length of hose. My father shouted, then the ambulance came. Then we all looked at death, then the ambulance took him away. From the porch of the house I turned back once again, looking for my father, who had lingered, who was still standing in the flowers, who was that motionless muddy man, who was that tiny figure in the rain. 4. Early morning, my birthday. The snails on the pink sleds of their bodies are moving among the morning glories. The spider is asleep among the red thumbs of the raspberries. What shall I do? What shall I do? The rain is slow. The little birds are alive in it, even the beetles. The green leaves lap it up. What shall I do? What shall I do? The wasp sits on the porch of her paper castle. The blue heron floats out of the clouds. The fish leap, all rainbow in mouth, from the dark water. This morning the water lilies are no less lovely, I think, than the lilies of Monet. And I do not want any more to be useful, to be docile, to lead children out of the fields into the text of civility, to teach them that they are not, better than the grass. 5. At the edge of the ocean. I have heard this music before, saith the body. 6. The garden. The kale's puckered sleeve, the pepper's hollow bell, the lacquered onion, beets, borage, tomatoes, green beans. I came in and I put everything on the counter. Chives, parsley, dill, the squash like a pale moon, peas in their silky shoes, the dazzling rain-drenched corn. 7. The forest. At night under the trees, the black snake jellies forward, rubbing roughly the stems of the bloodroot, the yellow leaves, little boulders of bark to take off the old life. I don't know if he knows what is happening. I don't know if he knows it will work. In the distance, the moon and the stars give a little light. In the distance, the owl cries out. In the distance, the owl cries out. The snake knows these are the owl's woods. These are the woods of death. These are the woods of hardship, where you crawl and crawl, where you live in the husks of trees, where you lie on the wild twigs and they cannot bear your weight, where life has no purpose and is neither civil nor intelligent. Where life has no purpose and is neither civil nor intelligent, it begins to rain. It begins to smell like the bodies of flowers. At the back of the neck, the old skin splits. The snake shivers but does not hesitate. He inches forward. He begins to bleed through like satin. So that was Rain by Mary Oliver.
Dude, that last one went really hard.
Dude.
I love that. Can you do me a quick favor?
Yes.
Can you reread 5 for me?
Yes. It was a 2-line section. So it's 5, titled At the Edge of the Ocean. I have heard this music before, saith the body.
I love it.
Me too. I love that.
The last maybe 2 lines of the first one.
Yes. When it hit the tree, her body opened forever.
Yeah. I feel like 1, 5, and 7 were the ones that really stood out to me.
For me, what stood out was the end stanza of To the Swamp.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one.
What does barbed wire feel like when you grip it? That whole section is... it makes you think. You know what I mean? I can't put it into words right now. I don't know. I love... And I do... from 4... And I do not want any more to be useful, to be docile, to lead children out of the fields into the text of civility, to teach them that they are, parenthetical, they are not, better than the grass. So, she doesn't want to be in... I do not want any more to be useful, to be docile. I don't want to be any more of the societal means that society wants me to be. I don't want to teach people they are better than the earth, because they're not, so that sort of thing, which I really like there. So that was Rain by Mary Oliver.
That was great because, as I said before the show, I went on 2 hikes this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent a lot of time out, in the woods and in nature, which was super, super nice, totally needed.
Mm-hmm.
So that plus the insane wind and rain that we got yesterday. I don't know what it was down over by you.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. We didn't get a huge amount of it. I was inside most of the day working on stuff, so I didn't really get a lot of the wind. But it did rain a fair amount, and today it's of course dry as hell.
Yeah.
Sun's out, ready to go.
So that whole nature theme and just all of the themes there were really they resonated with me because I've had a very nature-driven past couple days, and I. Again, love that just sort of descriptive but makes you think, drawing connections sort of thing.
Exactly.
So I really enjoyed those. Thank you for sharing those.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me back to the Chuckle Club at Richie's Poetry Corner over the... Ooh, yeah, got Richie here for awesome.
Make sure maybe I'll bring up a poem or 2 tomorrow, maybe for tomorrow's episode of the Chuckle Club.
Oh, that would be just great.
Coming
up next on NPR.
Yo, how can we get on NPR?
All you have to do is talk like this.
I think maybe
play some smooth jazz in the background.
I think maybe
Weber, if you could add some smooth jazz right here, that would be great.
I think maybe if we get Andrew Yang on the show, that might give us a good chance at NPR.
Who?
Andrew Yang.
Oh yeah, dude. If we can get Andrew Yang on, Honestly, be on that.
Let's try it. What's the worst that can happen?
Honestly, we're 2 guys, right? Or says no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're
whatever.
just 2 guys from our respective houses, just talking to each other.
Yeah,
through this.
Honestly, we're just talking our way through it.
And we just shoot the shit. I'd love to recite poetry to Andrew Yang.
Oh my God, could you imagine? Be like, Andrew, would you like to share anything at the Chuckle Club tonight? He'd be like, the fuck? Sure, yeah.
Well, it is now currently Richie's Poetry Corner.
Oh, yes.
I'd have to refrain from introducing him to Cowboy Richie.
Yeah.
Or to Dr. Baka von Antle.
Yeah. we could have a little pre-show debriefing if that ever happens.
Yes. Being like, we do get weird, we do get wild, like we did with Cody.
Yeah. That was fun. Oh, speaking of which... Beatdown Generation by Millington drops this Friday.
Hooray. I'm super excited.
Mm-hmm.
Misery is appearing on the album, correct? I believe.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay. So, Misery, I love Misery. It's such
Misery's
a
a
good song.
great song.
So, yeah.
We'll definitely talk about that after it drops. I want to
Yes, we definitely have to do
gotta
a
have an in-depth
thing.
conversation about it.
Yes.
Um,
Track by
so,
track.
real quick on the weather in Connecticut yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We were supposed to get like 60, 70 mile an hour winds, shitload of rain.
Yep.
We got the wind was kind of more apparent in the morning, I feel.
Yep.
And it was raining a lot, but then it kind of stopped, and then the rain came back. We
Mhm.
lost our power relatively, maybe like 10, 11 o'clock maybe.
Oh, wow. Oh, goodness.
Yesterday, and my dad was at work. My dad still has to go to work. He works for a plastic molding company
Mm-hmm.
that does plastic molding for the medical industry.
Yep.
So,
of course, they're doing
sort of still
things
going
to,
there.
Yep.
And the only reason why he's not work from home is because his job involves him being out like on the floor, like overseeing machines that do the plastic molding.
Yep.
So he's still at work, and so he was at work, and our power went out. And we have a generator because after all the snowstorms in October and hurricanes that we had a couple years ago, we invested in one. But I don't know how to hook it up. So
Yep. Is it a gas generator?
Yeah, it's a gas generator.
Yep.
So I just sat on the couch with my mom and my dog, and like we just laid there for a bit. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go lay in bed, maybe take a nap. This was yesterday, so still coming off my food coma and being exhausted from my hike.
Yep.
But my dad came home early, hooked the generator up, went out, got some gas. We did not get power until 10 a.m. today, apparently.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
I left my house like just before 9, so we still didn't have power. And when we got the generator going again, my dad came home maybe around like 3:30.
Mm-hmm.
So we got power back, which was great, but our cable was out. So I was like,
Yep.
fuck. That's the only reason why I wanted the power back, so I can like use the internet. It's not on my phone.
Yeah.
But I hooked up that mobile hotspot, and my data reset this morning, so I just kind of went crazy.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so it was pretty crazy weather compared to the past 2 days, or the past 3 days before
Mhm.
this, where it was generally pretty nice.
Yeah. Real quick, I got a question for you. Did you watch the after show
I did
for
not,
Tiger King?
because I have not had internet until I just got here. So
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
that's on
I would
Netflix,
definitely
yeah?
recommend that. Yes, it is. It's listed under Tiger King, so it's
okay,
a new episode. It's all done from home. Joel McHale interviews
oh wow,
Jeff and Lauren, Rinky, Saf, Rick Kirkham, the guy that looks like me, that's the campaign manager.
oh yeah,
And I think Dave, I think was the guy's name, with the really long blonde hair.
yeah. He
it
did
was-
it from
yeah.
the fucking jet ski, right? No. That was
This
Fox did a TMZ thing about Tiger King yesterday, and they
Re-
had a
oh,
clip
okay.
of him on the jet ski again, but with a haircut.
Oh, wow.
And actually, I'm super glad that you brought up Tiger King, because
Mhm.
just a quick, I've seen a lot of stuff where obviously Tiger King blew up real big real quick,
Yes.
and I don't know why there's so many people who, like, I don't want to say idolize, but there's like a cult of personality around Joe Exotic
Yep.
and that whole hashtag free Joe Exotic thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like because of that, there's a lot of people pushing back on Tiger King because
Yeah.
people, as a result of that, are praising this person who is a terrible human being.
Yes,
So
Joe Exotic is
let's-
not a good
let's-
man.
Let's make a disclaimer on the show that
Yep.
while I fucking loved watching Tiger King, I loved every minute that I watched that goddamn show.
Mm-hmm.
The memes have been great. Talking about it is great.
Yep.
Literally almost every human being featured in that show, bar a couple people who seem decent, are just trash human beings.
Like, I love Saf. He's great. I love Rinky. Like, I love the people who worked at the place. Because they were there for the cats. Saf, Rinky, Dave. I love them. But other than that, Jeff Lowe is an evil person.
Yeah, Jeff Lowe, like,
Bogga von Antle runs a cult.
Ansel Lowe and Exotic
Mhm.
are bottom of the barrel scumbags.
Yep.
I don't trust Carol Baskin.
Yep.
Um,
I don't know
and
if you saw headlines, but they are reopening the case against her ex-husband that is now dead.
I did
or
see that. I
disappeared.
did see a lot of things where, like, you know what? If Carol Baskin wanted to kill her 40-year-old husband who picked her up on the side of the road when she was 19, I think we should let her.
Yeah.
And I could resonate with that a little bit. That's definitely a little weird, but I don't know the full scope on that. I don't
Mhm.
trust her. If you're involved in that racket, and not from a purely like, I am trying to legitimately do good perspective, I don't think I trust you, and I don't think Baskin is in that corner for me.
Yep. I don't trust any of the people, any of the major people in that show. So.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
that is our official sign off on Tiger King, is that we do not endorse Joe Exotic or anyone else in Tiger King.
Not at all.
And it's weird that people took onto it like that, where they're like, oh, Joe Exotic's a good guy. Not a good guy, but like, yeah,
Mhm.
whatever. Because at no point during that was I like, yeah, okay, I could see it. Because like,
Right?
everything,
Yeah.
it's like, this guy's a fucking scumbag. Like,
Mhm.
when he was talking like about, I don't remember what part it was where he was talking about killing Carol Baskin, because there was a lot of it.
Yeah.
But there was part of it where I'm like, yo, this guy's getting super fucking militant about this, and I'm like, that's terrifying.
It is.
Like,
He is a
I don't-
terrifying individual.
I don't care if he wears cool shirts. Not all his shirts are cool, but some of them are kind of interesting.
I don't care if he has a piercing that's just hanging on by like a thread.
By dear fucking life. But yeah, like at no point was I was like, yeah, no, free Joe Exotic. It's like, no, fucking lock this guy up and lock fucking Jeff Lowe up, lock Dr. Bhagavan Antle, just fucking lock
Yeah,
them all up.
Doc Antle.
Doc
he runs a
I
cult.
feel like Doc Antle is at the top of my shit list.
Yeah.
Because it's even like, they're like, yeah, no, these girls came here when they were 16, and then like later on down the road, he like
Married
you know,
them.
and I'm like, that's fucking grooming. Like that's
It is. That's
serious
full grooming.
predatory behavior. And he's just a fucking creep.
Mm-hmm.
That and then Jeff Lowe, that whole thing where it's like, yeah, once my wife has the baby, she's gonna be hitting the gym, and she just looks at him like, why am I in this right now? So that is our take on Tiger King. Fuck everyone in that show, bar a couple people who seem like they're decent human beings who are in it for the tigers or in it for the cats. And I think with that, let's dial it back. Let's rub some sardine oil on this motherfucker and
Let's
send
take
it to
this healthy tiger cub out back and shoot it.
Yeah, no, again, fucking
Like
Joe Exotic shot his tigers.
Awful, awful, man.
Yeah. But I gotta say, the name Joe Exotic,
Right? It's so like
that's maybe the one thing he got right.
right. Joe Exotic, the Tiger King.
Oh my god, real quick. When I was watching episode 1,
Mhm.
I forgot who I snapped it to. It was someone who had already watched it or was like watching it and already got past episode 1. It was one where it's footage of like a show at Joe Exotic's place,
Mhm.
and it's right at the beginning of it, and then Joe Exotic walks out. And I was like, yo, if I go to a show to see tigers, which I wouldn't,
And
but if
this
I was,
weird man just
and
walks out.
this blonde mullet rhinestone cowboy guy named
Yep.
Joe Exotic, who has a gun strapped to his hip, walks out to be the host of the show, I am fucking leaving. I am walking away. I don't even care if I get my money back or not. I'm getting in the car and I'm leaving. Fuck that.
You know what I want? I want people to take a look at now also is like alligator people. Like gator people who like raise gators and do gator shows.
Yeah.
Because I remember growing up in New Bedford, Mass, at the Whaling City Festival, there was this guy, and I have a picture holding like a baby alligator, like with the mouth taped up. Like, that's awful.
Yeah.
But his name is, I believe his name is Kachunga.
Oh,
Like,
my God.
that was his name, Kachunga. And I was like, yes! fucking Kachunga. And he comes out and he basically just had 2 gators. It was like, I'm going to put my hand in. I'm going to do that. And I'm like, all right, we get it. You're a dick.
Real quick, I just sent a selfie recently to my friend Elena Conti, and she just said, for some reason, I feel the haircut really emphasizes the podcaster persona.
Yes. Dude.
So,
you look like fucking Tom Segura.
Shut the fuck up. I am going to read you. I sent a picture to a lovely, lovely man who I love dearly, Adam Fry.
Yes.
I sent him a picture that goes,
it's like, oh, Tom Segura.
And I quote, "Oh fuck, I didn't know I was friends with Tom Segura."
Yes. Yes. That's amazing.
And I said, "Yeah, motherfucker, go watch my new special on Netflix." That is our show for today. I hope you
Peace
enjoyed
out,
it. We had a little
Girl Scouts.
extended edition. We had some catching up to do.
Yep.
I don't know about you. I'm happy to be back on the regular recording schedule.
Me too. I'm wicked happy to be back.
It was good to take a little breather, especially because before I did everything on Spotify, and before I even had the idea to put it on Spotify, I went through and got everything else back up on YouTube, which is super easy to do because it's just dropping shit into Premiere and exporting and uploading it. But like it takes time to export and upload. So I spent a lot of time doing that, and then right when I finished, I was like, let me get this on Spotify. So I went into that. So that was like a process that, again, shout out to Anchor for being super, super, super easy. But that was a lot. And then just sort of like getting everything in place every day to upload and everything. Not very taxing, but still like it's work. And I enjoy it. But it was nice to take a little breather. And now we're back. And we're going to bring you some cool guests, some cool episodes, some fun topics, and I'm super excited.
Me too. I'm excited to continue this podcast even when all this stops.
Yeah, you know, like, why not? Part of our brains are always going to be socially distant because,
exactly,
look, it's Alex Weber and Richie Oliver. Like, it's us. Like, we're
exactly, it's us.
We're a breed of individuals, to say the least. So yeah, we're definitely gonna keep this going. I enjoy it. I feel like it's definitely my calling in life to run a podcast out of my
even if we have to change it to once a week, we'll do it.
Yeah, no, we'll make it work. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Stay tuned. I don't know what tomorrow's gonna hold. Maybe we'll get a guest, I don't know, but definitely stay tuned for the episode that's going to be released on Friday afternoon. Hopefully we have a cool little true crime case that we're going to work our way through with our good friends Megan and Trevor, who I believe are hunkered down in Framingham right now. So we'll make a little triangulated podcast route. And so it's going to be good. So this was a fun episode. It was good getting back, getting caught up, getting everything where it needs to be.
It was.
Definitely, again, we're on Spotify. We'll be pushing out on Spotify. I still think I'm gonna do the YouTube just to keep it going on there.
Yes, definitely.
But so you'll know where to find us. We will keep you updated on anything new and exciting. So thanks everyone. I hope you had a great weekend, a great Easter, Passover, whatever you celebrate, or if you just hung out and jerked off in a cave like I did. Whatever.
Oh no.
Hope you had a great weekend. That was a callback. Hope you have a great day, evening, night, whatever. Stay cool, stay safe, and as always, stay socially distant.